maximum and minimum punishment, okay? So you understand, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, the minimum punishment that you're facing with the charges that you're pleading guilty to is a life sentence that could be parole.
Yes, sir.
The maximum punishment that you're facing is the rest of your life in prison without parole. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm the mother of Mason Alexander Scribblehorn. Although Mason is no longer here physically, I want it to be very clear that I do not forgive Mr. Gray.
Now, if you don't mind turning it on, make sure. And how old are you, Mr. Gray?
16 years old.
You're represented by Mr. Charles Allen, State Administrator.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, if I'm correct, you've been representing him since the beginning of the year, is that right?
Yes, Judge. I was retained on December 18th.
Mr. Gray, my understanding is you were before me this morning because you intended to enter a guilty plea to the indictment. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to go over some very important rights with you before you enter a guilty plea, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So understand that the decision to plead guilty has to be voluntary on your part. No one can force you to enter a guilty plea because you have an absolute right to a jury trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
So if you wanted a jury trial, you would obtain one. We have one scheduled in October. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand that Mr. Allen would represent you throughout the jury trial. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that at trial you'd be presumed innocent. You could not be convicted unless the state was able to prove your guilt to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understand that Mr. Allen would have the right to confront and cross-examine each and every witness that testifies against you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that you have a right to subpoena your own witnesses to testify on your behalf,
Yes, Your Honor.
to testify in your own defense if you wanted to,
Yes, Your Honor.
but that no one could force you to testify at a trial. You have a right to remain silent at the trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you chose not to testify, the jury would be instructed they could not use your silence against you in any manner in their deliberations and reaching the verdict. Understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, also understand that if you had a trial and there were any legal errors that occurred during the course of the trial, you have a right to file an appeal for any of those legal errors. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you enter a guilty plea, however, which you're about to do, you can waive and give up each of the rights I've just gone over.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand each of these rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about them whatsoever?
No, Your Honor.
Do you wish to voluntarily give up those rights and enter a guilty plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's a decision that you're making with your own free will, because that's how you decided you want to resolve your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, have you completed a plea sheet?
Yes, Judge. I have now, approach.
Yes, Mr. Gray, take a look at that document real quick. You recognize it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Allen. Mr. Gray, I'm holding up the document that just indicated that you just identified. You do in fact recognize the document.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review it in its entirety with Mr. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your signature on the back side of the document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, can you put on the record how you reviewed it with him?
Oh, we had a conversation yesterday on the phone where he was looking at a copy, and I was in my office, and we went through it line item by line item. I explained each item to him. This morning, when he came in, I took that same document, we went back over it, and he put his initials on each one of those answers that you see before.
Mr. Gray, is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Gray, on the form, next to each of the numbered questions, there's initial CG. Did you place those initials, or did Mr. Allen?
I place them, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Gray, do you have any questions whatsoever about any of the rights or advisements contained in this form?
No, Your Honor.
You understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, do you have any concerns that Mr. Gray is not understanding the other rights that relate to the documentary appeals?
No, Your Honor, I think he's fully capable of making this decision.
Mr. Gray, are you presently under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or any other substance?
No, Your Honor.
For any reason, are you supposed to be taking medication?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had access to that medication?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you been taking it as prescribed?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you have a treatment provider, and you're following their recommendations, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you able to take the medication yesterday?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you take the medication today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You feel all right today?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any mental health issues or mental health disabilities?
Yes, sir.
Is that why you take medication?
Yes, sir.
Your mind's clear.
Yes, sir.
And again, your mental health treatment provider, you're following their recommendations as well, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gray, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, state, what charges is Mr. Gray pleading guilty to today?
And all 55 charges.
All right, all 55 counts of indictments. Mr. Allen, I'm assuming that you have reviewed the entire indictment with Mr. Gray.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gray, are you aware of all of the charges in the indictment?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about any of those charges?
No, Your Honor.
This is a 55-count indictment, if I'm mistaken, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Allen, you've reviewed all 55 charges with Mr. Gray.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gray, you understand all 55 charges?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you would be pleading guilty to the entire indictment, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, as I understand it, I want to discuss the maximum and minimum punishment with you, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, the minimum punishment that you're facing with the charges that you're pleading guilty to is a life sentence that could be parole.
Yes, Your Honor.
The maximum punishment that you're facing is the rest of your life in prison without parole. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counseling that you need to have.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Now, this is a non-negotiated guilty plea, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Gray, you understand that with a non-negotiated guilty plea, there's no plea deal. The state will present a case and make argument for what they think the appropriate sentence is, and Mr. Allen will do the same. Both sides have the opportunity to present witnesses, evidence in aggravation, evidence in mitigation. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that the sentence is solely for me to decide.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that once the sentence is pronounced, you understand that you have no right to withdraw the guilty plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, as I indicated, pleading guilty has to be voluntary on your part. With that in mind, has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you in any manner to get you to plead guilty today?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Have you been promised or offered anything whatsoever that's causing you to plead guilty today?
No, Your Honor.
Have you had sufficient time to discuss the case with Mr. Allen, telling him everything you want him to know about the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the legal representation and advice you've been given?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're going to need a factual basis for the charge.
Your Honor, as a point of order, the original indictment was under seal. I believe we've given you an order to unseal that. Can
I've signed the order. You have the unsealed.
I do, so I will unseal it, Your Honor. Your Honor, counts 1 through 12 go towards the 4 deceased victims. They consist of malice murder in Barrow County on September 4th, 2024, that unlawfully and with malice aforethought caused the death of a human being by shooting them with a firearm. Felony murder in Barrow County on the same date while in the commission of a felony, that felony being aggravated assault, it caused the death of a human being. And aggravated assault in Barrow County on the same date did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon. As to counts 1, 2, and 3, the malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault are for the victim of Christian and Gulo. Counts 4, 5, and 6, which are the malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault for the victim Richard Aspinwall. Counts 7, 8, and 9, the malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault for the victim Anna Christina Irami. Counts 10, 11, and 12 for the malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault for the victim Mason Sturmhorn. Your Honor, counts 13 and 14 are for the injured adult. That would be David Phoenix, count 13 being aggravated assault, in Barrow County on the same date did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon. An aggravated battery in Barrow County on the same date that maliciously caused bodily harm to David Phoenix by seriously disfiguring his body by shooting him with a firearm. Your Honor, counts 15 through 23 are for the children who were injured in the assault. That being the charges being aggravated assault in Barrow County on the same date did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon. Aggravated battery in Barrow County on the same date did maliciously cause bodily harm to another person by seriously disfiguring said person's body by shooting them with a firearm. And cruelty to children in the first degree that in Barrow County on the same date did maliciously cause a child under the age of 18 years cruel and excessive physical and mental pain by shooting them with a firearm. For counts 15, 16, and 17, the aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children in the first degree is for the victim, Melanie DeLira Castaneda. For counts 18, 19, and 20, the aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Natalie Griffith. And for counts 21, 22, and 23, the aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Taylor Jones. Your Honor, the next two counts, 24 and 25, are for the non-injured adults that were in the room 2152 at Appalachee High School that Colt Gray stepped into and fired indiscriminately. First adult victim was Cassandra Ryan. That's count 24, aggravated assault. In Barrow County on the same day, did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon. Count 25 is the victim, Stephen Edwards. Aggravated assault in Barrow County on the same day did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon. Your Honor, counts 26 through 53 are for the non-injured children who were in room 2152. And those counts consist of aggravated assault that in Barrow County on the same day did make an assault upon the person of another with a firearm, a deadly weapon, and cruelty to children in the first degree that in Barrow County on the same day did maliciously cause a child under the age of 18 years cruel and excessive mental pain by discharging a firearm multiple times inside a classroom occupied by said child. For counts 26 and 27, aggravated assault and cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Landon Adams. For counts 28 and 29, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Jackson Beaver. For counts 30 and 31, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Hayden Bowen. For counts 32 and 33, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Jalen Brady. For counts 34 and 35, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Michaela Brown. For counts 36 and 37, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, William Carricker. For counts 38 and 39, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Marquez Coleman. For counts 40 and 41, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Kendez Lawrence. For counts 42 and 43, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Martin Marino Galdamez. For counts 44 and 45, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Tyler Moon. For counts 46 and 47, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Ariana Norman. For counts 48 and 49, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Brittany Rubio. For counts 50 and 51, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Ronald Vega. And for counts 52 and 53, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree for the victim, Nautica Walton. Your Honor, counts 54 and 55 were for a child that was in the hallway, Zane Zinni. Aggravated assault is count 54 in Barrow County did on the same date make an assault upon the person of Zane Zinni with a firearm, a deadly weapon. And count 55, cruelty to children in the first degree in Barrow County on the same date did maliciously cause a child under 18 years of age cruel and excessive mental pain by pointing a firearm at said child.
Is there anything to say to add or would like to add for the factual basis?
There.
Mr. Gray, you heard the factual basis for each count is announced by the state, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree that there are facts to support each of the charges against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty to each of the charges that you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, is there anything I need to address before accepting the plea? Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gray, I will accept the plea. I find there's a factual basis for it. I understand the nature of the charges, the consequences of the plea, the rights you give up when pleading guilty, and you are entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so as far as proceeding, the state will be able to present the depicted impact, evidence and aggravation. We'll go from there to defense for any evidence and mitigation. We can have the argument, which I realize won't do that. All right, the guilty plea has been entered on you. You can see.
And Your Honor, before we present the victim impact, I'm going to provide you with a stipulation to the admissibility of evidence that we discussed previously. The defense and the state have agreed to the introduction of evidence from the Appalachee school shooting that the court can consider without having to replay the surveillance video for you today. We have placed it on a thumb drive for you.
Mr. Allen, is that accurate?
Yes, Judge, we discussed this. They gave me a list of what the items would be. I have no objection to it.
So the evidence that's addressed in the stipulation is on a thumb drive that I'll have, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, you will have it. It was previously introduced into evidence at State versus Colt Gray, and the court has already seen the evidence. So we're asking you to consider the evidence you have previously seen, and the defense is stipulated to your ability to do that. If you need to review it again, it is on the thumb drive for you to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time we'll start with victim impact. We're going to call Brianna Skirmerhorn.
Ms. Rosen, you want to pull that microphone down?
Your Honor, do you want me to swear her in?
We might as well.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Can you just go ahead and introduce yourself to the court first?
My name is Brianna Skirmerhorn.
And will you go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know with regard to the sentencing of Colt Gray?
I'm the mother of Mason Alexander Skirmerhorn. Although Mason is no longer here physically, I'm continuing to learn from him. Mason was so much more than a victim. He was a son, brother, grandson, and friend. He was deeply loved. Mason was kind, compassionate, funny, and fiercely protective of others. As a child with exceptional needs, he understood what it felt like to struggle and be overlooked by others. Instead of becoming bitter, he became an advocate, not only for himself, but also for his friends. He made people that were typically unseen feel seen, accepted, and safe. Mason even became friends with children who started out as his bullies. I had no doubt in my mind if Colt had actually attended school as he should have, that Mason would have befriended him. That is a legacy that he should be remembered for. As much as I have felt that I needed to hold on to the hate that I have felt, I know that I can't. Not only for my own health, but how can I say love like Mason and hold on to that? So I'm choosing to continue to learn from Mason and honor his legacy. I want it to be very clear that I do not forgive Mr. Gray. However, I can acknowledge that there are two truths that can exist at the same time. The first is that the adults in that young man's life failed him. The people who should have protected, guided, recognized the warning signs and intervened when it mattered the most did not do what they should have done. They failed to give him the support, boundaries, and accountability that every child needs and deserves. That failure is real, and it is tragic. I can acknowledge that he was failed without excusing what he did. I can have the compassion for the child that he once was while holding him fully accountable for the choices that he made as a young man. And those things are not mutually exclusive. There's another truth that cannot be ignored. He knew the difference between right and wrong. He knew that bringing a weapon into a school was wrong. He knew that pulling that trigger was wrong. He knew that every choice he made that day would forever alter countless lives. The failures of the adults around him may explain parts of his story, but they do not excuse the decisions that he made. Those decisions were his and his alone, and because of those decisions, my Macy Mace is gone. My family, both biological and chosen, have been forced to endure horrors that no family should ever experience. A member of our family that has been an integral part of our village was who had to identify Mason in the school that day. That is an image that he will carry the rest of his life. He and another family member were in the room when we were told that Mason was gone. I can still remember the silence and the confirming nods by my family when I looked to them in utter disbelief, wishing it was untrue, and the heartbreak on my other children's faces. In that moment, our lives split into two parts, before September 4th and after. In one sentence, our future was stolen. Since Mason's death, I've had the privilege of spending a lot of time with the Angulo family and some of the victims, or I should say, I don't want to say victim survivors. While each of our experiences are different, we are forever connected by the trauma that his choices caused. I have witnessed incredible strength, resilience, and courage in people who were never asked to carry this burden. None of us should know one another because of a school shooting. Yet here we are showing up, loving one another, and trying to rebuild lives that will never be the same. Colt didn't just take Mason's life that day. He took every birthday we would have celebrated, every holiday, every graduation, every milestone, every hug, every conversation, and every dream that he should have had the chance to live. Mason deserved to grow up. He deserved the chance to continue advocating for those that needed a voice. He deserved to become the man, husband, and dad that he was meant to be. Mason deserved a future, and we all deserved a future with Mason in it. And Colt took that from Mason and everyone who loved him. I hope that one day he truly understands the weight of what he chose to do, not because it will bring our loved ones back or erase the damage that he caused, because nothing ever will, but because genuine remorse begins when excuses end. Every morning I wake up to the reality that my son is gone. Every night I go to bed knowing that there is nothing I can do to change it. I have lived 688 days so far. I was sentenced with no parole, and that is what he should receive as well. Thank you.